Alright. Hello everyone, this is Jordan the Beast 95. And I'm just gonna get through the script. I've been trying to record this, but everything's been going wrong quite a bit. So just bear with me. I'm gonna talk about, it's kind of a critique for the game. Spider-Man 2 is a really good game. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but there is a little bit missing from this game, isn't there? This is my 100% playthrough, so I'm just gonna let you know there's gonna be spoilers in this little critique here, and I think it's worth talking about. There's stuff here that I noticed is kind of missing from past games, and it's strange because I'm pretty sure this game is built off the framework of the first game. I mean, just looking at the city, yeah, it's the same city as in the first game. We get that stuff over there now too, and that's great. And over there, the raft, you can go there now whenever you want. But there's stuff, there's other stuff that's not here. We get a lot, and they take a little more from us. And that comes in the form of crime. And what do I mean by that? I mean the types of crime you come across. So I don't know if you saw, probably not, but it popped up like so. Yeah. Oh, here's a good way to talk about this. Okay. So in Miles Morales, right? You could bring up your phone app anytime you wanted it, and you could go do a one of the random crimes. You can no longer do that in this game, and that's because there are not many types of crimes that they've implemented into this game. There were 3 types of crimes that you could come across in this game, and I think it's pathetic in comparison to the 2018 game and Miles. So which are the 3 types of crimes? There's the fires that the flame cultists, burn buildings and like oil tankers and stuff, and you got to put them out with your webs. So that's all fine and good, but then you fight them, and that's about the extent of the crime. There is the possibility that hunters and spoilers. Remember, spoiler alert. But oh, there's a high-speed chase. Yeah, there's a vehicle chase right there. But there's a possibility that now symbiotes and stuff will come across and fight in any one of the other normal like fight crimes that you come across. But yeah, it's pretty much just those 3. It's vehicle chases, fights, and fires that you got to put out. And that's a huge downgrade from 2018. In 2018, you could rescue kidnappings, like people trapped in cars that were kidnapped. You could rescue them. You could interrupt like deals, and people would disperse, and you need to catch them all, or you come across some guys and you'd fight them, but then some of them would escape in a vehicle, and you have to chase that, and you come across a theft, right? See, oh, there's burning devils again. Yeah, they're fires and stuff. You gotta put those fires out with some web. But in the first game, you could come across like a theft in a store, and you could fight in the interior of the store, right? There's a type of crime like that in this game, but it's really just a fight. There's no interior to the store. You're just protecting the store from perpetrators. But that's really just another like assault, right? Like that's just another one of those, oh, I'm going to fight a group of guys. But yeah, you would be able to fight these guys inside the store, web up the store, and you don't get any of this anymore. You don't get the bomb squad that you talk to, and you go and defuse bombs. You don't get the shootouts between cops and demons, and you don't get like the Sable outposts or lookouts or the Sable checkpoints, right? You don't have anything like that in this game. You don't even come across Like, let's say like Sable had these guys in jetpacks that would just be trying to capture you. You know, isn't it weird that this game has a bunch of like hunters? They're hunters in this game, and they're trying to hunt you down. So they'll roll up on you after a fight, but there's nothing like when you're swinging around, and like there's nothing that'll like intercept you. You know, they have these really agile guys with the crossbows, but they don't seem too interested in you while you're like swinging around, or I don't know. You have symbiotes in this game. Think symbiotes have incredible abilities, like kind of like Spider-Man and Venom, right? Like, why aren't they a little more active in the air, you know, instead of just on ground stuff? But I'm getting away from myself. It's just we don't have nearly as many crime types in this game as we did in the previous Spider-Man games, and it's a real shame, because I think having a diverse and dynamic and evolving crimes really goes a long way to make you feel like Spider-Man, right? I know it's a meme, but the goal of these games is to make you feel like Spider-Man, right? It's to immerse you in New York City, this beautiful, beautiful setting, and you know, you want to be Spider-Man when you're playing a Spider-Man game, of course. Not that, you know, not playing as Spider-Man is necessarily a bad thing, right? I'm not here to rag on like the MJ missions or whatever, or the gadgets. You know, to each their own. Some people like them, some people don't. I think I'm in the camp of I could do without the you know, the crawling around as a spider thing. I think it's good to break up gameplay though with different gameplay varieties, and I think the MJ missions are actually pretty good for that purpose, even though it's really only the one in the middle of the game where you play as her, when you know you're trying to find Peter in the symbiote suit, and the one at the end when she's in the symbiote nest. I think those are the really good ones, but the first one isn't too good. But again, I'm getting away from myself. So the lack of exciting, random, dynamic content in this open world is it's compounded by the lack of the enemy variety, right? I was mentioning before the Sable jetpack guys that would intercept you in the air. Okay? Now imagine if we had this game's combat system, right, where you can extend off of the swing kick, and you can slide behind people in the air and hit them down, and like, it makes a bounce, right? Imagine if there was more of that stuff to coincide with more airborne enemy types. I don't know why there aren't more enemy types in this game. You know, the DLCs and Miles with the Underground, you know, they seemed pretty good at expanding the enemy type variety in these games. And then this game, I don't know, it feels kind of slim, you know. There's the brutes, and they fight kind of different from one another, but you know, you're still just, you know, they're the guys you parry. You know, that's what the brutes are. You web them, you parry them, and those are the mechanics you engage in with brutes, right? But not having like more air-related enemy types, air combat, it feels kind of like a step back, right? It feels like there's something missing here. There's something that they were thinking about expanding on towards the end of the first game, and they were about to expand on in Miles. So you thought like Insomniac would really expand on it more in this game, air combat, but I guess not. I don't know what happened. You know, parrying is great. Don't get me wrong. But I do want to have more stuff to do during combat, right? And I think simply adding the parry mechanic in there doesn't do enough, right? Abilities kind of take the place of like the suit powers now, and I think that's good. I do wish you could unlock a suit and it would give you another ability. Um, Imagine if you unlocked the classic suit and you got kind of like this, not nearly as powerful, but kind of web blossom esque ability, right? So you could like kind of jump in the air and just like quickly web the people around you, and I think in close proximity, not nearly as powerful as web blossom in the first game, but I think that'd be cool, right? But all this new stuff we have in combat, it's not being utilized to its full potential because we're not getting those new enemy types, right? Or anything that can emphasize the air combat, or anything that can take you from a different kind of playstyle. Because all the combat's on the ground, right? You're not doing too much. You can bring enemies into the air, but they don't interact with you much in the air. At least not like the Sable jetpack guys did, and some of the underground guys. I think wouldn't they like pull you to the ground in Miles? I think. I don't know. I haven't played that game in a while, but it's just we need more stuff like that, more interaction in the air from enemies. And I thought after I saw the symbiotes like pop up in this game, I thought for sure that's where the air combat would be, and it just wasn't the case. And I don't know what happened. So yeah, I'm just turning the page on my script here. Okay. So we don't have air combat, and that's strange, I think, right? Because even in the first game, you got the boss fight with Vulture and Electro, and that was all in the air, and that was great, right? So when I saw the art from the collector's edition steelbook, and it's like concept art for the game where Peter and Miles are fighting Venom in the air, I thought for sure we'd have some more air combat, but I don't know. It's not here. It feels like there's aspects of this game that were rushed, especially when it comes to content, like the crimes and stuff, and they didn't get the development time they needed to really make this game a true sequel, right? It's not a true successor in every way to the first Spider-Man game, because it's just missing a lot. Sorry about that. I knocked something over. But yeah, I've been having a great time swinging around the city. The traversal is great, right? Swinging around the city is super fun. It's fast. It's all the good stuff. Web wings are fun. I could do without the Superman 64 rings, of course. I don't know why they did that, but that's like a little nitpick. What I'm most curious about is why there's no like swinging traversal related challenges, right? You get web wing challenges in the form of like the bird drone things that you have to get in their slipstream to upload some data or something. That's fine, but where's the swinging stuff? I'm really missing the Taskmaster challenges, I find. So Miles has like the combat, and that's all good, right? Miles got the Mysteriums, which is all like combat challenges, and that's perfectly fine. But where are the Taskmaster challenges? I would love to have like a swinging challenge. I don't know, some more stuff to do in the world. I think it feels a little slim, the content, like extra content in this game. I don't know about you, but I would have. We don't really get anything like the backpacks either. We have the spider bots, which are not nearly as interesting because Peter and Miles don't have anything to say about them really. It doesn't like bring up any like history or anything we haven't seen in this world. You know what I mean? That's what the backpacks are great for, filling you in on like stuff that had happened in Peter's past. But if there was some collectibles that gave us some context on New York since the last time we saw Miles and Peter, I think that would have been good, or their adventures since, because I assume I don't know, they're Spider-Man. They're fighting supervillains all the time. I don't know. That's just a thought. But we didn't get that. We got Spider Bots, and they're cute, but they just don't have any cool lore to go along with them. Where is Taskmaster? Also, he was in the Craven cutscene. At the beginning of the game, they kind of tease him. They're like, "Oh yeah, Taskmaster's in New York," and then, apparently not, because he had this plot thread in that was open at the end of the first game, right? It's like, oh, who hired him? Well, we don't find out in the sequel, so that's disappointing. I guess we gotta wait for the next game. Like imagine if there's gonna be another 5 years between this game, it's gonna be like a decade between the first game and the third game, and who knows if we even find out what was going on there with Taskmaster. And that's just insane to think about. But it also seems like we're missing the outposts, right? In the first game, there were outposts where you'd go and you'd fight a bunch of guys. And, you'd start off doing some stealth, and then you fight some guys. And we get that in the form of Hunter's Blinds in this game. And Hunter's Blinds are cool. I actually really like those, and how they kind of build up to this huge base with a bunch of guys that you gotta fight. And you gotta pinpoint their location on a map, and yeah, that's all good stuff. I just wish it wasn't specific to the hunters. I wish you could do that for the other, the flame cultists and stuff. I don't know, you could have little cultist dens or something you go to, and symbiotes kind of have something like that. They're nests, but they don't really lead to anything bigger. And maybe that's fine. I don't know. But in the first game, you had Fisk. You had the Fisk goons. You had the what was it? The demons. You had the Sable dudes, and you even had Raft escapees. All these, there were a lot of these things around, and it gave you something to do besides the main story. And I feel like we're missing a lot of stuff to do besides the main story. I don't know. It just feels content light, this game. I don't know about you. And the story and its pacing are I don't know. It feels short. It feels like they didn't use. I don't know if it definitely feels like this game had a rush development cycle. They did not fill it, But that's just me. I also want to mention the stealth, right? Stealth is it's kind of like a tertiary avenue of combat, right? It's, well, not combat, it's just, stealth is its own thing. But you don't do it much in this game, and when you do it, it's completely broken, right? Because of the web line thing. What were they thinking with that? I don't know. It really de-emphasizes combat. Not de-emphasizes. It really de-emphasizes stealth. It just completely ruins it. Because it's just completely easy and simple to. It just trivializes everything, right, with stealth. But you also don't have the gadgets anymore, right? You can't use gadgets to help you take guys out anymore. Because once you use a gadget, you pretty much alert a guy right away, right? There's no tripwires that'll target one guy, or impact webs that you can shoot across a map, and a guy will get stuck to a wall, and that's how you take him out. because all that stuff is kind of implemented into the combat now, because the combat's like a lot better. But I digress. But that comes to the consequence of the stealth system, because it's just extremely simple now. It's trivialized by the web lines, and I don't know. It feels like a huge step back, and there's just no consequence for just starting to fight people, right? And that's ultimately far more fun than the stealth gameplay. I just wish they did more with the stealth, and it was much better, because it was much better in the first game, and the way it's implemented here is just like, it's just pathetic. I really don't appreciate it. Because yeah, you can just circumvent any challenge with the web lines. But anyways, I just think it's a real shame that Spider-Man 2, it kind of falls short of the 2018 game in some ways, and Miles Morales too, and others. Not every way, like boss fights are really good now. Boss fights are great, but there aren't really any cool fights in the air, right? Like the Electro Vulture mid-air fight, or fights with like the Sable guys. And there's some narrative stuff I want to critique, but I want to say that for a separate video. I just want to get my thoughts down on how this game kind of, I wish it would improve on its open world stuff. Its side quests and its crimes. I feel like we're missing a lot, and there could be more. Alright, well, thanks for my rambling. Bye. Thanks for my rambling.